Okay, hey everybody. So this is just a video on what I did to get Project One going. I'll be doing this on my Mac. Of course, the steps you'd follow on Windows would be different. On Linux, might look the same. Of course, there was discussion in class of perhaps you could use a package manager to install software for you. You want to do that? Do brew if you're on Mac, or apt-get or whatever on Linux. Great. On Windows, I think you can just download the libraries. You want to go that path, that's great. I'm just going to show you what I did. I did a build of all the source code and just quickly walk through the steps. So let's see, my steps were the following. The first thing I did was download CMake, and then I built CMake, and that made an executable for me that was called CMake. And then I downloaded VTK, and then I built VTK, and then I had the VTK library was ready, and then I downloaded the project1.cxx file, and I built that with CMake against the VTK library, and then I ran that. And so those are more or less the steps. And so let me just show you kind of the leftover what happened. So the first thing is I went to CMake.org. Let me just go back to CMake.org, and it had a download link right there. And so I clicked on the download link, and it looked like the latest version was 3.16, and that's what I used. It seemed to work fine. And I clicked on it, and then I got this tarball, CMake 316.tar.2.tar.gz, and I made a directory called 410.winner20, and I think I did, yeah, this command right here, tar xvfz, from my downloads directory. And when I did that, it untarred everything into a directory called CMake 3.16 tar. And the first thing I did is I ran a command called bootstrap, and after I ran that, and it did a lot of checking. CMake is trying to see like what's special about my machine, and kind of like how many bytes is this type, and where's this installed, and so on. And then after bootstrap was complete, I said make, and then after I said make, then in the bin directory, I had this CMake executable. And so once I had CMake, then that was, now I've completed step one and step two, and then I have what I need to go ahead and build VTK. And so then I went to the VTK webpage, and it's actually from the same company that makes CMake, and I went to the downloads, and I'm using 8.2.0, which is the latest stable release. Since I'm running on Mac, which is Unix, I download this VTK-8.2.tar.gz, and I did the same sort of thing where I untarred it. Let's see, maybe that was here. Well, it doesn't look like I have the tar command anymore, but I did something like this. So I did something like that to untar it, and then I used to go, and I wanted to go into the VTK-8.2 directory and do this. That is no longer accepted. So now CMake only works with a so-called out-of-source build, which I personally don't like. But so then my next step was I made a directory called build. Now you can see it's already there. And then I went into my build directory, and I did CMake like this, and told it to do this CMake against VTK-8.2, and I pressed enter, and then it spent a while looking at this CMake list file, which has all the information about how to build VTK. And then at the end, it gave me this thing saying, I'm done doing CMake, it's time to build VTK. And so then I said make, and after I said make, it went through all the process of building VTK, and then it was built in this directory. And so now I had VTK, and I had built VTK and the VTK library was ready. And so then my final step was to download the project file. And so I went to, in fact, I'll just do these steps again, 410 and projects and project 1. And so I downloaded the VTK program. And by the way, you click on these things and you get this thing, and it's tempting to kind of like do this and copy and paste. I don't do that because something always goes wrong. So I like to right click, and with my Mac that means I press Control and the button, and then I say Save Link As. And it was weird to me. My Chromium, at least on my Mac, seems to be really smart. It says, oh, it's C++ source code. But then because it's smart, it called this thing that should be called proj.1.cxx. It renamed it to be proj1.cp. I don't want that extension. That's not the right extension. And it added this one because I've downloaded it before. So anyway, I'll do this again. I'm going to call it proj1 try 2. And I'll go into this, and then I moved from my downloads directory, proj1, like that. And I gave it the name it's supposed to have because Chromium outsmarted itself. And then you see I've got several CMake files. Here was one that's worked from a previous student on Windows. Here's one for a Mac. Here's some stuff from a previous student about how to make it work on Linux. But I'm going to get the Mac one. Whoops, darn it. And then I'll say Save Link As. And I saved it. And then I'm going to move this to, see, that's the name it gave it, to the current directory as CMake list.txt. And then I went into the CMake list.txt because, this file, it's saying here's the VTK directory, and this is not the correct directory. This is the correct directory from some previous time, and each of you are going to have to do this step where you put in the correct directory. And so for me, the correct directory, I went to the build directory. I said pwd, and it was users Hank 410 winter 20 build, and I put that right there. And then I said CMake dot, and I said make. And then the way my Mac stuff is set up, because it's trying to do it in like the special Mac way, it actually puts it in that path right there, proj1.app contents macOS proj1. I think there's a way to mess with the CMake file and make it be that it's in the current directory. I know with Linux it's in the current directory, but to me I was just like, well, this is fine. And so then now if I were to run it, it would fail because I didn't download the data directory. And so here I'm running it, and presumably something bad will happen, perhaps a crash. Let's take a look at the file. Yeah, so look at that. We had a crash, and it said that it couldn't find the data set, unable to open file data.vtk. And so here I'm going to download the data file. Whoops. Again, I'm going to do this right-click thing, and I'll download the data file. And then I'm going to move that data file to the current directory. And so now I've got my source code. Here's the source code. We'll be looking at all this stuff in a lot more detail, throughout the term. But here's a program, and we've got from the CMake list I downloaded it, made a make file. Here's some other CMake-ish stuff, and then here's the data file I downloaded. And if I ran it as project1 like that, and data.vtk, and press enter, then it's going to take a little bit because it's doing some work. But here it's done this algorithm, and then here this window comes up, and in fact if I click in it, then I've got my visualization, and it's rotating, and so that's what success looks like. So this is evidence that I have the pathing that I can run VTK on my computer. And so I'm a Mac guy, and so for my Mac I'm going to put my cursor right here. I'm going to say Command-Shift-4, and maybe I'll do something like that. And then here's a screenshot that it works, and that's what I would upload to Canvas. So hope this is helpful. When it comes to building VTK and building CMake, hopefully things go smoothly. If not, look at the documentation, see how it works. that's kind of your first step. Going to office hours, we'd be happy to help. But hopefully this video kind of helps get the steps together so people can see what it's supposed to look like. Okay, good luck everyone. Again, this is due on Friday, which means 6 a.m. Saturday morning. Really encourage you to start now, because if you have problems, we want to support you and get it fixed. Okay, bye everyone.